This week on Battle of the Ports, we're going to take a look at a game which started life on the Super Nintendo. That game is Street Racer from British developer Vivid Image. As you can see, Street Racer is a go-kart racing game which combines racing with battling. Kind of the kart version of Road Rash in a way. As well as avoiding attacks from other characters, you must also avoid explosives littered around the track. There are a wide variety of game modes to choose from, but what we really want to try is the Championship mode, as this is what gives this game the same feel as Mario Kart. Just like Mario Kart, we have different cup rankings, with each higher one being more difficult than the last. I love the replay function on these too. You can watch a standard replay or take control by panning the camera anywhere you want on the track, as well as other neat camera options. I never really cared much for Mario Kart, but I have to be honest and say I did like Street Racer. It just seems like a much better game, even if many aspects were ripped off from Mario Kart. After the SNES, Street Racer appeared on the Mega Drive. Since the SNES version used Mode 7 for the grounds, the Mega Drive port would have to produce the tracks in a different way, and it did. Long before Konami made Contra with its fancy into-the-screen running section, we had Street Racer, which uses the same graphical line effect to give a kind of Mode 7-like appearance, and it works well. Sure, we can't see the whole course in front of us, but that's fine, since the overall look of the game makes up for that. Some may even prefer the music on the Mega Drive with its funky sampled sounds and speech. Gameplay wise, this does feel very different than the SNES original. However, that's not to say it's a bad game. In fact, it's a pretty good racer once you understand how to slow down at the right spots. The game modes are all the same as the SNES version. You can't select the silver or gold course modes on the Championship now though. You must first complete the bronze mode to unlock them. This makes sense, I guess. What doesn't make sense though is the inclusion of the football mode. It just doesn't work on the Mega Drive. One of the main selling points of the PlayStation and Saturn versions of Street Racer was that they supported up to 8 players on a split screen. That was mighty impressive for the time. What isn't impressive about this PlayStation port is that it has severe pop-in. For a system that is built for 3D, it truly is surprising to see just how much pop-in there is with buildings and parts of the stage. It's even more surprising when you think of just how small the stages are. Also, have you noticed the drop in frame rate at almost every corner? Even with these issues, the PlayStation port of Street Racer is still an entertaining one, if not a little disappointing. Now here is a massive surprise. The Saturn version of Street Racer not only has no pop-in thanks to a mesh effect, but also features way more environmental elements. Loads of graphical effects such as transparent clouds, amazing looking depth to the water on the Australian stage, high quality textures, and a steady frame rate. This is one excellent version of Street Racer. This is something I never expected to see, Street Racer on the Game Boy. Looking at it on this video, you may think that it looks like a blocky mess. However, when played on a Game Boy, it does look much better. The tracks are presented in a similar way to how the game is on the Mega Drive. This is cool to see on the Game Boy and does allow the game to feel fast. Unfortunately, there are only 4 races present per race, which makes it extremely easy to reach the first place within 2 laps. So what we have here is a great playing game, a nice looking game that's way too easy. Street Racer for the Amiga and Amiga CD32 are identical and are both based upon the Mega Drive version, but nowhere near as playable. The Amiga version also has fewer colours, which takes away some of the vibrant worlds found within the Mega Drive port. So why isn't this as playable as the Mega Drive version? Well, quite simply, the controls are broken. The turning circle is very slow and suddenly speeds up like crazy, sending you flying off the track. Finally, we end with the MS-DOS release. As you can see, this is based upon the PlayStation version, but now with much smoother frame rates, much higher quality textures, and very fast loading. This port does still suffer from pop-in at times when there's a bunch of characters appearing on the screen at the same time, but in most cases the game is pretty solid in terms of look and gameplay. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the audio to work, so you're watching this with audio taken from the PlayStation game. And let's take a look at all those versions of Street Racer running side by side.